let's learn more about the DRG4FOOD project from our project coordinator, Kai Hermsen from Twins Foundation. Kai, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me share what I have. And first, I want to start with a question, and that is, who of you is regularly taking a picture of the food you have in front of you, for whatever purpose? Send it to someone, post it on Instagram, show of hands. Who's doing this from time to time? There you go, almost all, right? So we are inclined to take pictures of the food we have shared with others, and in a way, translating food into data. Of course, then in that case, it's a picture. It could also be something else. And that's exactly what we're dealing with in DRG4FOOD, of course, also in different dimensions. So not just with the mobile phone, not just a picture, but combining data and food. And it's so interesting how we're doing this every day, almost every day already. But of course, we want to take it to a bigger dimension. As Maja already said, I'm Kai. I'm with Twins Foundation, and I have the pleasure to coordinate this project, DRG4FOOD, together with a number of great partners. And I'd like to shortly introduce the project so you know what we are all about and what we're doing and who we are. And then we transmit to the DRGs, the digital responsibility goals, and also to the open calls and how they're functioning. Now, our vision and objectives. What is DRG4FOOD and what is its purpose? Here's our vision and the purpose, and also some of the members of the team. The project is not that old yet, but it has already changed, but that's probably a common theme in a lot of projects. Our vision is to improve the quality of life for society and citizens through an open, trustworthy, adaptive, and conscious data approach along the food life cycle, enabling a better sharing and protected use of consumers' data. So you see, not just the sharing of the data is important to us, but also the protected use. And we think it's very important this is done in a digitally responsible fashion. And we see that the openness, the trustworthiness, being adaptive and being conscious about the data of consumers is very important. And you'll see this reflected throughout the program. We have 5 clear objectives in how we do this. First of all, we're developing a new paradigm for successful data-driven food applications, which is, let's say, the groundwork on what we would actually like to do. So we are developing the method and the framework on how to use data-driven approaches, but in a trustworthy and open fashion, as just introduced. Second, we are building a roadmap to new data-driven food systems that will then allow us not only to build it, but also to advise and gather good practices, and even to the extent of communicating what we found, not only to the wider public, but also to policymakers. We are then actively developing a human-centric, decentralized, and trustworthy electronic food system with technology enablers. And here's where all of you already come in, because we're not doing this alone, but we do this with other great partners that we are starting to seek right now. And this is how we want to demonstrate new services and applications within the virtual food system. And we do so through selecting and engaging at least 10 third-party pilots through 2 open calls, through DRG4FOOD Open Calls. And here today we are talking about the first open call that just launched on Monday. And we are all excited because we are looking forward to seeing who is applying and with what kind of good ideas. And we hope you share a little bit of our excitement. Now, what will be the outcomes of DRG4FOOD? You just saw the objectives, 5 of them. Let's look at the outcomes. We would like to publish a strategic roadmap for digitally enhanced food systems, as just introduced, always along the digital responsibility goals. We are looking to develop technology enablers, and I'll share just a little bit more on this in a couple of minutes. So we go a little bit deeper on the enablers, because that's important, and this is what we're looking for also from the open calls. Yes, we launched the open calls, and that's an achievement in its own right, and we're very much looking forward, as said, to the open calls and to the applications. Together with the open calls comes an acceleration program, so it's not just about money we're talking here today, but of course there's also an infrastructure and a program around the open calls with coaching and a network and an idea of how we build through sprints the great outcomes that you are looking for and how we can help you do exactly that. We're looking to demonstrate and pilot some of the tools and approaches that we develop. And of course, DRG4FOOD is very active in communicating. So there's a number of publications that we want to publish, both academic and for the wider public. And all in all, we're looking to add to an already vibrant and innovative tech community around food and data. One topic I want to deep dive on is the toolbox we're developing. And as you know, and maybe you didn't expect to see this gentleman here, but this is, maybe some of you recall, this is Tim Taylor, the Toolman, a very famous series, at least when I was a bit younger. I used to watch this. And he was all about tools, almost to an extent that was a bit funny to see, or a bit overdone. But there's one important insight. Tools help you build great things, and they are actually not just nice to have, but they're necessary. Without tools, it's virtually impossible to build new things, and that's exactly why we're thinking about a toolbox, and we want to translate that concept of a very physical tooling and DIY to the virtual world. Of course, we're not the first ones to do so. Others are doing that too, but we think we can contribute to this through a very dedicated approach. Let me introduce what this toolbox of ours is supposed to look like. So the technology enabler toolbox has 4 important reasons of why we're doing this. First and foremost, it's about saving time and effort. Modern software development has high complexity and at the same time a high pace. Hence, we are looking to establish a toolbox with reference architectures, software components, or reusable libraries and frameworks that help exactly that software development. We think by doing so, we can allow focus on the actual and specific applications rather than having to reinvent the wheel, because there are some components and some things that go into a lot of different software projects. So we would like to allow focus by giving pieces and providing pieces that are going in a variety of software products. We also extend this to a life cycle approach where we support the entire life cycle. So we're not just talking software components that then end up in the software, but also, for example, definitions, designs, developments, and tools that help the deployment of software and solutions. And finally, and this is very close to all our hearts, we establish digital responsible practices, because we believe if we start even and already the enablers and the components and the tools to be digitally responsible, this will progress throughout the software development and then end up in tools and solutions that in themselves are digitally responsible and follow the digital responsibility goals. Ferdinand will, in a couple of minutes, share more on the digital responsibility goals, what they are and why they're important to us, which is a crucial input to anyone applying for the open calls. And this is something that we also as a project are trying to pioneer here. So how do you build open calls on digital responsible practices? Finally, the toolbox. So what is it then? What we're looking for is selected and referenced available technology enablers comprising the following characteristics. So we're looking for open source tools mapped to the framework of the digital food system, so mapped to our use cases that we'll also introduce. And they need to be adhering and supporting the digital responsibility goal frameworks. And these technology enablers we understand as technical artifacts that extend the architectural runway of a solution under development or improve the performance of the development value stream. And from out of the open call, the first open call, we hope to be able to fill the toolbox that is currently under development and will be published with the first iteration, was also there for the toolbox. We have a development timeline with the first iteration until end of October. And as of October, we'll mature the toolbox. The idea is that from the first open call, we will be able to contribute to the toolbox. And then the second open call will be more able to use components and elements from the toolbox to then further build solutions, which is also very much in line with the development timeline of the toolbox as such. Now, back to the overall project, two things I still want to wrap up on. Who are the partners that are doing DRG4FOOD? Because we are there to help you on your questions for the open call, so reach out to any one of us. It's important to know who's behind the project. Here are the organizations that are behind the project with Primanova, Premotech, UFIC, Innocence, Identity Valley, Enea, and Twins. You see large parts of our team here on the call. Please reach out to us at any time should you have any kind of questions on the open calls, and we're happy to help. And then in the spirit of our values of transparency, openness, positivity, support, respect, and collaboration, we want to run this open call. And please hold us accountable to our values. If you at any time feel that we may be not living up to them, or together with us live these values in the open calls. And then just as a wrap up, what is DRG4FOOD all about? The roadmap to digital responsibility, the digital responsibility framework for food, the open calls, which you can become a part of if you want, and the curated toolbox for a food system. With that, I give back to Maja. I thank you for applying to the open call and the expectations that you will do so. And I give back to Maja, who will moderate further along the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Kai, for this nice summary of who we are, what we do, and how we aim to contribute to a more responsible food system. And now the next item in our agenda is the actual overview of our first open call. As you know, our first open call officially launched this Monday, October 9, and will run for 2 months. So bear with us in this presentation. We will summarize all the key important points that you need to know in order to apply. I'm Maja, I'm the Open Call Manager, and feel free to reach out to me in case of any questions via our official channels. There will be a slide in the end for official contact points. So, what is DRG4FOOD? In addition to what Kai explained, let us now jump into our core, the heart of the project, and that is the pilot program that is focused on the piloting and the development, piloting, and validation of digitally responsible, data-driven solutions that empower citizens, that safeguard their data rights and support sustainable food systems. So if you think about our open call, these are the keywords that you should have in mind. All our activities from planning to development, piloting and validation are driven by digital responsibility goals and principles. And Ferdinand, our colleague from Identity Valley, I will give you insights into what are the mandatory digital responsibility goals in our Open Call 1, and he will give more details into how we expect applicants to comply with these principles, not only in the application process, but also during the actual pilots once they start. During the project, we will have a total of 2 open calls with a total budget for both calls being 1.9 million euros. The budget allocated for this first open call that we have just launched is 950,000 euros. So this is the total amount that we will spread across different pilot projects, and the maximum the maximum budget per each pilot is around 300,000, exactly 300,000 euros. This is the maximum that you can ask for. Our focus domains are food tracking, targeted nutrition, and consumers' food choices. So in your applications, you will be able to select one or more domains for which you will, under which you will tailor your solutions. Again, the first open call has just been launched. In the next 2 months, we will be expecting applications from small consortia, meaning that single entities are not allowed, not eligible to apply. We will only be accepting applications for pilot projects coming from small consortium from at least 2 or 3 partners. Of course, eligible countries are all countries from all European countries and also Horizon Europe associated countries. There is a detailed information on eligible countries in our official open call documentation. So in case you are not sure, please double check the guideline for applicants. Who are we actually looking for? We are looking for consortia consisting of startups and SMEs that are already active in building digital and data-driven solutions for one of our key areas. We are asking them to join forces with research and technology organizations, universities, and other non-profit research organizations. They can be either public or private. It doesn't really matter in our case. We just want to see that this research component being part of the actual solution development. So the ideal consortium is one startup or SME joining together with a research organization, a research entity, and a third partner could potentially be a technology adopter or user in the food sector whom that will be engaged during the validation and testing period of your project. Please remember that it is mandatory to have at least one SME, one startup or SME and one research or technology organization. So this is a consortium must have. Either of the two can act as a coordinator of your projects. There are no restrictions regarding this. Another important point that we all have to bear in mind is that only one proposal per organization will be accepted. So what does it actually mean? It means that we want to see a full commitment from your side in terms of time, in terms of resources that you will commit in your pilot projects. And this is why there is this limit that only one that you can basically participate in only one proposal, and only even if you participate in a couple of them, only one of them will be funded in the end. Our budget for the open column is limited, and we want to make sure to have a range, a wide range of organizations that are being supported in this call. Once again, the maximum budget that you can request is 300,000 euros. This is the maximum amount, and your pilot projects will be funded 100%. Then, when it comes to the actual core requirements for this first open call, the first open call basically revolves around three main challenge areas. The first one being food tracking, where we want to see technology enablers that focused on environmental impact, that focus on prevention of food fraud, on geographical origin and accurate labeling. The second challenge area that we are looking for to support pilot projects is targeted nutrition, where the focus is on personalized dietary requirements based on individual behaviors. And the third one is consumers' food choices, where we want to see tools and enablers that increase consumer awareness of different impacts of their food choices. So the third one is a bit health related. Each of these challenge areas comes with, let's say, a set of enabling technologies that we would like to see being funded and that we would like to support in the first open call. The list is by no means definite. These are only examples that we would like to see, and please consult our official guidelines document to double check the full definition of each challenge area and technology enablers that we are expecting under these challenge areas. When it comes to technology enablers, the list spans from decentralized identities, disposable identities, self-sovereign identities, blockchain and DLTs, verifiable credentials, privacy-enhancing technologies, and other new technologies that could maybe emerge during this application period. So double check the full definition of our challenge areas and consult our guidelines document to better understand our toolbox and the concept of technology enablers. Again, the whole process of development, piloting, validation of your solutions is driven by the principles of digital responsibility. And even in your applications, you will have to double check which of the criteria you plan or you're already taking into consideration in your ongoing work. When it comes to technology readiness levels, the minimum that we expect is technology readiness level of 4 or 5. And in your applications, you will have to demonstrate the potential to progress towards technology readiness level of 7. Now, when it comes to the actual pilot program and what happens after your applications are successfully evaluated, and once you sign the sub-funding grant agreement with us, the actual pilot is divided into 3 phases, lasting from the minimum time is 6 months and the longest is 12 months. So the actual duration of the program and your pilots depends on your needs. So please take this into consideration when planning your pilots and when drafting the actual budget that you will be requesting from us. The first phase is planning. It's the shortest initial phase where we will work together with you to help you deliver a detailed pilot specification report where we will work together to agree on your milestones, KPIs, and overall distribution of resources. Upon the successful delivery of this plan, we will release up to 30% of the total requested budget to you. And then you enter the longest phase, which is the actual development and piloting. In this phase, you are requested to actually deliver the proposed solution, to test it with end users and consumers. So the actual validation and inclusion of end users will be quite relevant to explain in your applications for the program. Upon the end of this phase, up to 50% of the total budget requested will be released to you. And then you continue to phase 3, which is all about scaling up. Again, you will work with us, with your designated mentors, to help you prepare a sustainability strategy and a value model that will help you further in your scale-up activities after your pilot projects. Upon the delivery of this plan, we will release the final remaining budget to you. What do we offer during these 6 to 12 months? We offer materials, guidance, and tools to help you align your solutions to digital responsibility goals and principles. Our colleagues from Identity Valley have prepared a nice playbook on digital responsibility that you're advised to check in your application process and that you will be asked to use during the actual development of your pilots. You will have access to our toolbox, as Kai mentioned, where you will be able to contribute, but also to make use of the toolbox and the enabling technologies that will be published there. Along the way, you will also receive a set of webinars on various aspects, both technical, business, investment readiness, and digital responsibility related. And last but not the least, we will open our door to you to enter the wider ecosystem that will help you to further scale up your solutions in terms of access to potential investors, potential end users, and other relevant entities that you tell us are important and are key for your future success. How does the timeline actually looks like? Please keep in mind the deadlines. The open column is now officially launched. The deadline is 11th of December, 5 p.m. Brussels time. 5 p.m. Brussels time. Please remember there will be no extensions to the deadline. So make sure that you submit your applications well in advance. All official documentation is available on our website, drg4food.eu/opencalls. The only official documentation that you need to apply for the open call is on this page. Then from the middle of December until March, we will have a three-step process. The first one is an eligibility check that we will conclude until the end of December, before the holidays, to double check the initial eligibility criteria, basically to make sure that all of you have submitted your applications in English on time, that you have submitted all necessary annexes, that they are signed, and so on. Again, the official eligibility criteria can be found in our guidelines for applicants. Then those proposals who have passed this eligibility check move on to the next phase, and this is a remote evaluation. This remote evaluation is basically means that each proposal will be assessed by at least two evaluators, one coming from our own consortium and one coming from external to our project. So this double check will make sure that your proposals actually align with the criteria that we have devised for this open call. And then we have the contracting phase that is expected to end mid-March. Then all pilots that successfully sign the contracts will enter our pilot program, and I already explained the three phases of the pilot program. And now, what is very important to make sure that you all understand are our evaluation and selection criteria. The first one being overall technology excellence and innovation. So in this first set of questions in your applications, please make sure to explain how you aim to, how you are aligned with our challenges and the overall policy priorities. Explain explain what your user needs and how your solution is aligned with them. And make sure to have clear and verifiable objectives. Then moving on to our evaluation and selection criteria number 2. This one relates to alignment with digital responsibility goals. You will see a set of questions that are related to your experience to software design and cybersecurity, to ensuring privacy and secure handling of personal data. Again, these questions are the minimum criteria that you should be able to explain at the application process, and that are clear signal to us that you're committed to adhering to digital responsibility goals. The third criteria is related to your overall viability, scalability, and impact, where we expect to see a clear differentiation from any other competitor solutions, where we expect to see a credible value model, and where we expect from you to see effective IP management strategy with clear commitments from one of your project partners who will continue the development and further scale up of your solutions after the project. The last criterion relates to overall complementarities of your consortium. So please make sure to include relevant complementary partners in your consortium, qualified personnel that each of which will contribute to your project in a unique way, and double check and make sure that resources dedicated to your project, both in time of financials and human resources, and also time, are allocated properly. This is very, very important. Our application form is structured in such a way to follow our 4 evaluation criteria. The actual application form can be found on F6S, so please remember this link. It is also available on our official website. The F6S platform is the only platform where we will accept applications. Follow the link on our website. You will be redirected to F6S. If you click on apply for DRG4FOOD, you will see a new application window with questions that you need to complete, mandatory questions, and where you will need to upload the actual technical proposal template. Again, this one is available on our website. So fill it in, make sure to follow the guidelines, the page numberings, the limitations, and in addition to the technical proposal template, there are also a set of annexes that you need to upload. The first one being consortium declaration of honor, which is the actual commitment from your project partners to enter a collaborative project with you. Then we have SME declaration, which is mandatory only for SME partners, which basically proves that the SME partners actually falls under the SME category. And the last annex is the applicant declaration of honor, which is a commitment from individual members of your consortium that they are actually eligible to apply. So on F6S, please make sure to upload all annexes, the technical proposal template, and annexes related to declarations of honor and SME declarations in case of SME partners. The technical proposal template can be downloaded on our website and also the other annexes. Key things to remember: our open call deadline is December 11, 5 p.m. Brussels time. Please make sure to submit your applications on time. We will provide technical support only 72 hours until the deadline. So please take this into consideration. The next important thing is the actual eligibility. We are looking for small consortia consisting of 2 to 3 partners. One of them has to be an SME, one of them has to be a research organization, and you can potentially include other SMEs or even end users to test your solutions. We are looking for to support the development and piloting of responsible digital data-driven solutions in 3 key areas. For the full definitions, please double-check our official guidelines document. And the expected technology readiness level at the application stage needs to be at least 4. For any further information, please make sure to follow us on our official social media channels. And the website and the F6S page will be the actual, the only valid way of communication with us during the application process. One last thing, we have a matchmaking service available for all interested participants. The service is available on F6S platform. We only require you to give us some small details regarding the missing competencies that you are looking for in your to further develop your proposals, and then we will organize one dedicated matchmaking session scheduled for November 15. These slides will be available on our website and the complete recording. So, but again, in case of any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us either through F6S, the link is here, or via email openCalls@DRG4FOOD.eu. That would be all from my side for now. And now my colleague Ferdinand from Identity Valley will give you a detailed explanation on what are digital responsibility goals, and he will guide you on how to make sure that your solutions are aligned with DRGs. Ferdinand, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Maja. I hope you can see the screen already.
Yes, we can.
Yes, perfect. So I will shed a bit more light on the now a few times evoked digital responsibility goals. But before we dive into the concrete matter, I'll just have some a little bit of introduction. So why are we sitting here talking about DRG4FOOD, and why are we trying to impose on our open call participants basically mandatory requirements on digital responsibility? This is because we think that digital responsibility or digital technology right now is not tailored to basically to be human-centered and user-centered. And you can think about the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where user data was basically used to manipulate people, or go even back further, basically since the digital revolution, there has always been a disconnect between user and their interest and how technology was created. And this is basically only getting worse, or people are getting more aware. This is a quite recent study. It was a global study, and 73% of people, they worry about their data privacy when using digital technologies, and 71% are worrying about cybersecurity. So in a nutshell, they don't really trust digital technology, and that's a shame. So to make this a bit more concrete, maybe tied to digital technology and food, that's why we are here. I just pulled up like very quickly some of the more recent examples of how this can go wrong. For example, chatbots that are giving harmful advice, or recipe apps that are basically just gobbling up your personal data, or basically food apps that, when breached, give away a lot of your sensitive personal information. This doesn't need to be like that, obviously. It's from our perspective, this happens because there is sometimes not enough thought put into how these apps and technology should be tailored to basically the human experience. And if you think about this a bit more deeply, this is not only, of course, true for the food sector or for the digital food economy. This is, of course, coming in bigger and bigger waves onto us as we have more and more connections to the digital world in our lives. So why and how did we get here? At least that's what we think, is that this is not some big conspiracy that big technology firms want to basically give us bad products. It's what we think is that there is still a lack of orientation on the side of developers and providers of technology, and also on the user side there is a lack of information. You don't know, if you download an app in the App Store, you're usually not really aware where your data goes or how secure this app was made, basically. So identity value and the digital responsibility goals, they come from the angle where we thought, how can we guide developers and providers of technology to create more responsible technology and also empower people to make more informed choices. So what the DRGs are, you might be aware of the Sustainable Development Goals. They basically break down the sustainability and climate challenge into very concrete, very easily understandable goals. And this is extremely helpful to get the problem into manageable pieces. And that's what we did for, basically, because the SDGs are not in the digital world, we try to do this for the digital realm. And this is why we have those 7 digital responsibility goals, from digital literacy to human agency. They're in the middle, there are the more technical goals, so cybersecurity, privacy, data fairness, trustworthy algorithms, and transparency. And they stand for themselves. Everybody can attach some meaning to them, but to make them really actionable, of course, we need a bit more tangible instructions. And that is why all of these DRGs are split into guiding criteria. Those are a bit more concrete measures that you can take, behaviors that you can take as a developer or as a provider of technology to make your technology comply with the goal and make this technology more responsible. For example, here we have data fairness. So part of the goal, data fairness, is when collecting or reusing data, proactive care is taken to ensure the integrity of the data. So this makes it a bit more tangible. That's at least we hope. But to make this really something that is going into, basically to make this applicable to developing technology, that's why we set up the open call in a way that you will have to explain to us what kind of measures you will take or you're planning to take to adhere to those goals. And this is why Maja already showed you basically the criteria for the DRGs that you can see again here, and this also in the official documentation. And this is why we want you to go through some questions and answer them for your proposal or for your proposed technology. Of course, if they apply, it's I don't know, if you're thinking about producing a anonymization tool, for example, and there's no, I don't know, this is not tied to any anything that is relevant for, I don't know, algorithms or algorithmic biases, then of course you don't need to answer that, but then you have to explain why this does not apply to you. It will be quite clear in the template. But for this first call, you will have to answer those questions. And the crucial part is that the technology that you are proposing is in some way contributing to a more trustworthy digital ecosystem and contributing to enabling basically one of the goals, or one more specifically, at least one of the guiding criteria. So when you go to, if you decide to apply, always try to think about your proposal in a way of how is this best tailored to basically the human, to the user. Not so much basically, or not only having in mind how is this going to be market ready, but we really want to have an emphasis on how is this basically something that is really giving a benefit to the user and is also safe and yeah, respecting of the user's interests. But of course, there's also something for you in there, apart from the money, I think. And this is my last point. There is a growing demand for responsible technologies, and this is a large-scale survey by MIT. 73% of large businesses that were asked, they agree that this will be something that is coming up. So if you think about climate and sustainability, I think we're a bit behind the wave with that. But when you see how investment skyrocketed in those technologies, because there is a clear necessity for basically sustainability and climate, we will see the same thing for digital technologies in the near term, I think. And yeah, this is just one clear example of basically business agreeing. So not only can you join us on this basically research project of how to implement digital responsibility in software development, you can also hone your own skills in something that will be basically more, there will be more demand for in the future. That's at least what we think. Yeah, thank you for your attention. I hope this was a very short dive into the topic. I'm of course very happy to connect on LinkedIn and give you more information if you need. And otherwise, I'm very curious what you are going to propose.
Thank you very much, Ferdinand. With this presentation, we conclude the DRG4FOOD Open Call part for today. But we have our special guest, Nika, from our sister project, FOODITY. She will, our sister project also has an open call now running, with the deadline approaching quite soon. Nika, I give the floor to you to present in a couple of slides the key things to remember about FOODITY. And then after your presentation, we can have some minutes for questions from the audience. Nika, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Maja, for the introduction. I will try to get straight into it. Can everyone see my screen? Actually, you can see this, so I'll close that. I'm going to go a little bit quickly through all of this because I don't have a lot of time. But of course, even if you have questions that we don't get to today, we have our website. You can send us an email. So very happy to get in touch after this. So the FOODITY project, in a nutshell, we have a vision it's twofold: to transition towards sustainable food systems, so looking at kind of the macro side of things, but also addressing the micro, going down to the individual, to really encourage citizen data sovereignty, to empower citizens so that they understand how their data are being generated when they buy things, for example, and how they can take control over how those data are being managed. So we really want to put that power back into hands of consumers, especially when it comes to food and nutrition. Through this data, we want to contribute to better, more sustainable food systems, to empower people to have not just control of the data, but also by doing so to enable them to make healthier, more environmentally friendly and environmentally conscious food choices, and also to overcome the limitations that we're seeing in existing platforms and tools, which tend to be closed data systems. So we really want to move towards open data systems. So as part of that transition to more sustainable food systems as well. So hello again, I'm Nika Levikov, and I'm the Open Call Manager from F6S. And we are a total in FOODITY of 7 partners in Europe. It's a multidisciplinary consortium with expertise in technology, data, citizen engagement, and social innovation. So let me dig into some details now about the Open Call. We have a 2-stage funnel approach, which means we're working in 2 core phases. The first phase is 9 months with 150K max. We are going to fund 6 pilots. In this phase, this is specification and design, implementation, and validation. Phase 2 is about getting your solution or product ready for market. So we're looking at pilot testing and business sustainability. Bear in mind that only 3 of the 6 original pilots will be passed on to phase 2 with a max of 30K. And then at the end, we will have a live pitching event where the pilots can present their results. The jury selects the best one, and that given pilot will be able to receive an additional 7.5K. It's really important to note here that we care a lot about citizen engagement. What do we mean by this? We want to see pilots that are bringing in their end users, their target groups, into the beginning of that design and that testing. Okay, it's really important that you are engaging citizens from start to finish. So this is not just an expectation, but we want to see some ideas already in your proposal when you're preparing your application about how you're going to do this. Who are we looking for? As you can see, we have a few different groups here. So we want startups and SMEs as the lead applicants for the consortia. Then research and technology organizations, which includes universities that are working on challenges around food and nutrition. Social innovation actors, they can be companies, but also NGOs and citizen associations that are proposing actions to raise awareness when it comes to things like data sovereignty, and training organizations that are providing professional training for careers in the food industry. So just like DRG4FOOD, we are looking for a small consortia between 2 to 3 partners. In a consortium of 2 partners, both of them can be SMEs, as long as there's clear capacity for social innovation. In a consortium of 3 partners, the third one must be nonprofit or a training organization. So what we're really after and what we want to see are multidisciplinary teams. So not just the technical expertise, but the expertise around social innovation and citizen engagement. We have 3 main areas that we're looking to see proposals in: food and nutrition personalization, food sustainability, and shopping experiences. These are intentionally broad because there are many different ways that we could be addressing food systems. This obviously involves a lot of different parts, and we are happy to see proposals that are focusing on the individual, and then we're also happy to see proposals that are on the other end of the spectrum. That's why we also have what we're calling an open challenge. So we are looking for really out-of-the-box ideas. So maybe you have something that doesn't correspond to these key areas, and that's fine. But keep in mind that at least 1 project per area will be funded. At least 3 projects that are selected will have a FOODITY component. So the FOODITY consortium is providing 5 different components. You can read more about this in the technical annex document that we have on our website. The components deal with things like food ID from photos and nutrition ontology. They all have different licensing agreements, so definitely check the annex for details on that. And another key thing is that all of the onboarded pilots will be using our data lake and DataU. So the data lake is a space where we are going to be managing and storing all of the data, and the DataU is how that data is going to be managed, okay? So if you have any data that is going to be identifying a person, so basically personal data in which the individual could be identified, this is not something we're able to store in the data lake, and we do expect you to propose something akin to a data management plan so we can understand how you plan to properly and ethically manage that data. Of course, something actually I should also mention is that details on the data lake and the DataU are also provided in the technical annex. Okay, so how are we evaluating these proposals? We're looking at the concept and challenge. Of course, we want to see an alignment with the FOODITY vision and the project's objectives. The challenges that you're addressing has been clearly explained, and your solution is state-of-the-art. Impact and innovation, we want to see impact in terms of the short term and the long term, both from a qualitative and quantitative point of view. We want to understand how you plan on empowering citizens in the process and work towards sustainable food systems. Data rights and citizen engagement. Again, we really want to see how you're going to be engaging citizens at the start. We will be helping you in defining these activities in detail at the beginning of the pilot program, but it's important that we see in your proposal that you are thinking about this. How are you going to guarantee citizens' data rights? And we want to see a plan for phase 1 and 2, and we want to understand how you plan to collect personal data, as I've previously mentioned. Team and implementation, of course, a clear work plan and proposed outcomes, proposed KPIs. So your key performance indicators, we understand that these will be defined in more detail with mentors at the start. And so we're not expecting to see finalized KPIs in your proposal, but some idea of how you see the your solution progressing throughout the program is key. And we need to see what kind of team you have. What is the capacity of this team to advance your solution, to truly bring in that social innovation and that citizen engagement? Each proposal is going to be evaluated by 2 external evaluators, and each criteria will be scored between 1 and 5, and the threshold is going to be 3. Our evaluation timeline. So our open call is open. We're closing on the 8th of November at 5 o'clock. This is a hard deadline. We will be evaluating from November to the end of December, and by the end of December, we will be doing the contracting, and then the acceleration pilot program will be beginning in January of next year. So what else are we going to be offering you in this program? Apart from the funding, as you can see, up to 187.5K is being offered, but also access to technology to help support your data-driven solutions, expert mentors that will provide advice on business development, group coaching, and technical training. This training is going to be tailored according to your needs. So we will have expertise being offered to you from the technical point of view, business and legal, among other areas. And the key things to remember. So as I've just noted, our call is going to be closing on the 8th of November. The consortia need to be 2 to 3 entities which are led by an SME. In the case of a consortium of 3 partners, the third must be a research and technology organization or a nonprofit. We are looking for data-driven solutions in the food and nutrition domains with respect to personal and citizen data sovereignty. And something I did not mention before, but the minimum TRL is 4 to 6. And through the pilot program, we would like the solutions to scale to TRL 7. And if you are not following us already, please do follow us on LinkedIn and X. And just very quickly, I'm almost out of time, some links for you. So we have our FOODITY website, information about the open call is there. Of course, applications are only accepted via the F6S platform in English. We have a discussion forum also on F6S. If you're having issues on the platform, you can contact F6S support. If you have questions about the open call, you can email us, opencalls@foodity.eu. And like DRG4FOOD, we are also providing a matchmaking service. We do not guarantee any matches, but it's a short form to fill out. Tell us what you're looking for, and we will do our very best to suggest connections for you. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nika, for this detailed overview. With this presentation, we conclude our session today. But before we officially close, I would like to open some space for questions from the audience, if any. Let me just reshare my screen so that you can have the important links on just in front of you. So do we have any questions from anyone? As you can see on the screen, please consult our official open call guidelines. All the necessary information is available there. Still, in case of any doubts regarding the application process, you can reach out to us first through F6S, through the discussion forum. In case of technical issues with the platform, then we have the dedicated email. Okay, and then there is this service available for matchmaking. Okay, a question from Milan. Which challenges will be addressed in Open Call 2? We are still far from the Open Call 2, so bear with us in the next couple of months. We will for sure come up with a list of challenges that are devised also with the help of external experts through different focus groups, just like the first one, the first set of challenges for the first open call. So it's still a bit early to have this list of challenges. Let's focus on open call number 1 for the time being and the challenges that we have at the moment. Thank you. Question from Peter. What do you consider as a Sorry, I lost the question. Does it have to be a registered company? Yes, there is a definition of a startup available in our open call documentation. It has to be a legal entity, I believe, 2 years, less than 2 years old. But let's double check whether it's 2 or 3. I can come back to you all later on. But still, it has to be a legally incorporated entity, and we will double check this as a part of eligibility process. So yes, startups also have to have a legal entity in order to apply. Then a question from Maria. Is it mandatory that an end user organization be part of the consortium? No, for DRG4FOOD, it is not mandatory to have end users. The mandatory partners are startups, SMEs, and research organizations. Either of them can act as an official consortium coordinator. And then in case you don't have end users as consortium partners, then you can explain in your application how you aim to get in contact with end users and how you aim to engage them during your pilot project. So you don't have to include end users, but still you have to prove how you will reach out to them during the development process. Question from Johan Bauer. You have your hand raised. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks Maja, thanks Kai, Ferdinand and Nika for the introduction. I would like to ask if it's beneficial if the SMEs are coming from different countries, or is that neglectable?
Let's say it's neglectable, meaning that we don't require participants to come from different countries. Yet you still have to think in your applications when you actually answer our questions under impact. What is your expected impact at a wider level? So even though your partners can be from the same country, you still have to prove that your proposed solution and your activities will have impact on a higher level. Thank you. Next one. Yes, from the same country, so we have answered that. But can they be 2 RTOs? Basically, yes, but you still have to include an SME. So a minimum mandatory is to have 1 SME plus 1 research organization. This is a minimum. And then you can have another one research organization as a third partner, but the minimum is startup or SME plus research. Question, is it applicable to apply as a group or individually? No, we don't accept in the single individual applications. In order to be eligible for the open call, applications have to be submitted by a consortium of at least 2 and maximum 3 partners that are legally incorporated. Okay. From Maria, can a university be the coordinator of the proposal? Yes. So we don't have this limitation. FOODITY, they have this limitation that an SME has to be the coordinator, but in DRG4FOOD, we accept either university or an SME to be the leading partner. Are international organizations allowed to be part of the consortium? Unfortunately, no. We have a strict limitation to with respect to countries and the type of organizations. When it comes to the type of organizations, the list is quite limited, let's say. Those are startups, SMEs, RTOs, universities, also non-profit organizations acting as end users for your proposals, and they have to come from either European country, so part of the European Union, or Horizon Europe associated country. And there is also this, when it comes to SMEs, there is also this strict limitation on how the SME is actually defined in terms of the turnover and in terms of personnel, people working for the company. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, just a short question again. Yeah, my question was about how do you find a startup? Can an entrepreneurial shop be considered, or does it have to be a company?
Depends on the legislation in your country. Provided that you have a VAT, then yes, they can apply. They are considered eligible.
Cool, thanks.
Anyone else? Of course, the rules vary from depending on the call that you're interested in. So I was talking from the perspective of DRG4FOOD Open Call. Although some rules are different for FOODITY, for example, the one on who can lead the consortium. Nika, if I'm not mistaken, the consortium leader in your case has to be an SME, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Then I suggest that we close for today. Our channels remain open for all your questions in the next 2 months. We will be expecting a lot of your questions, so please do not hesitate to ask in case of doubts, concerns, questions on the process itself. Although please bear in mind that we are not allowed to comment on the actual content of your applications. This will be subject to external evaluations, but we can provide guidance related to the process and the eligibility criteria. So feel free to reach out to us via our official channels. On social media, the easiest way to find us is using the hashtag DRG4Food. We have a dedicated space on F6S, so please bookmark the link and you can ask questions anytime. And of course, there is this email, open calls at drg4food.eu, where you can also contact us freely, and we will get back to you quite shortly. Thank you for your attention today, and we remain in touch. I will feel free to contact you once again once we upload this webinar on our website. So for sure, we keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.